How are you today?
I'm all right.
Good, good. I'm glad we get the opportunity to speak again, kind of check up again on how things are going and stuff. Anything that you want to share before we get started? Anything that comes to mind or that's been going on?
Well, I did find out more about the HPV stuff from my mom. Apparently I can't take those medications because I've already been diagnosed with HPV.
Okay.
And now they have found it on me and they have to do some type of operation to remove the HPV from inside of me.
Wow.
Or something.
Okay.
So that hasn't been scheduled yet, but that's been the newest development.
Wow, okay. Sounds like that might feel like it's a little bit scary. Not only are you kind of dealing with something that you didn't expect from something that you did, but now you're kind of dealing with some really heavy consequences from that. So it sounds like it would probably be very scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. I feel just mad at myself and scared at the same time. What does it mean? What is it doing to my body? And it just, it kind of makes me sad. A little sad too. So.
Lots of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand them. I think that if I was in your position, I think I would also feel really scared and uncertain and mad. Definitely at myself. I can understand being able to kind of look back at what actions you took. Had you known kind of where you would end up, maybe you would have made some different choices. So I'm sure I can understand that. And I would say that while it's easy to say to not beat yourself up about it, because you can't go back and change it, now you can just kind of move forward and make some decisions that will help you get your health better.
Yeah, I want to be better.
Yeah, I bet. I do want to talk a little bit more about that. I just kind of want to go over really quickly, since we had our first discussion last time, some things that we went over, make sure that I have the information right, and then I want to kind of talk to you about what's going on. Maybe kind of look at some things in your life that you want to work towards, maybe some goals and things like that, and how we can work together to figure out how to make those obtainable. And then in the process, kind of gather a little bit more information from you. So if I stop you for a minute and kind of redirect and ask you something a little bit more specific, I want you to understand that that is not because I'm not listening to you or what you are offering me is not important, but I want to make sure that I'm getting kind of the full picture. So I need to make sure that I gather the appropriate information to kind of help me with that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Alex, you're 16, correct?
Yes.
16, okay. In high school, again, we're talking because Ms. Valdez had said that she thought that it would be good for us to talk because of some things that you're discovering about yourself, mostly about your sexuality, but it's kind of infringing on some other things that are going on in your life, from kind of some struggles with your grades, some separation from one of your close friends, and a band that you've expressed that you really enjoy, but you've kind of pulled away from that. Obviously, the medical issues with the HPV, and again, I do want to talk a little bit more about that, but that your mother's aware of it, and that's kind of how you're getting the help and support that you're getting medically. And that as far as your sexuality is concerned, your parents aren't really aware of it, and last time we spoke, you weren't really in a position that you wanted to speak to them yet. Yeah? Okay. So, outside of the changes in medically, how is other things going? How do you feel like school is going, and how do you feel like the stuff with your band is going?
Well, I still haven't returned to my band, but I've been just practicing in my room.
Good.
And I've been drinking alcohol when I can get it.
Okay.
I'm just I still kind of isolate, but I started playing guitar again.
Okay.
So to me, I feel like I'm getting a little bit better maybe. I missed it, and I had been getting really drunk and just passing out, and my mother was noticing some things, so I felt like she was on to me, so I kind of stopped drinking a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm still kind of confused about all of this and not ready to tell my parents about what's going on. I want to tell them, but I don't know how, and I don't know if that's going to be helpful to my situation, because I'm 16 and I quit my job. I was working in the movie theaters. I don't know if I had told you that, but I did. And you know, I'm still in high school. I still have 2 years to go, and I don't have a place to go.
Sure.
What if they kick me out?
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Like, so that's pretty much what's been, I guess, worrying me, I guess, is like my parents, and then the fact that I was drinking a lot, and, you know, so, and then the HPV thing.
Yeah. So I think that for your age, and I don't want to say that as if your age makes you less than, but you know, being 16, you're carrying a lot right now, and you're kind of juggling a lot of different things going on in your life. So I understand that in feeling kind of isolated and feeling kind of confused about a lot of things that are going on in your life, you know, you're looking for outlets to make yourself maybe feel better, and so you've turned to drinking to kind of maybe make those feelings go away so that you don't have to face them right now. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, I don't like the way I feel sometimes.
Okay.
When I feel like sad or just really angry.
Okay. So let me ask you, you also mentioned, and I want to address the drinking because it's concerning to me, and I would say that it sounds like perhaps it's concerning to your parents, that they're noticing some difference in your behavior, and so in that, you've made the choice to kind of pull back a little bit for that, so I definitely want to talk a little bit about that. But you brought up that although you haven't rejoined your band, that you're finding yourself practicing more and playing with your guitar more. Do you find that when you use those tools, that you feel better, maybe expressing yourself like in writing songs or doing those things? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that when you're feeling like you want to reach for a drink, that finding a way to pick up a pen and paper, or if you're in a position where you can pick up your guitar, can be something else that you choose instead of the drink?
Like pick up Gatorade and drink Gatorade?
Well, you could pick up something to drink, but instead of picking up an alcohol beverage or finding a way to get it, you said you know you're going any way that you can. Instead of looking to see how you can pursue getting alcohol, instead maybe focusing when you're feeling all these emotions and you're feeling this confusion and the isolation, using your ability to write songs and develop yourself and kind of express yourself that way. So that way you're not having to feel the emotions pounding on you. You can kind of express them in a more...
Yeah, I never thought about writing music, but maybe that's something that I could start doing.
Good.
I like to write. I write in a journal.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I like to write, and I'll just write pages and pages and pages of stuff. That makes me feel better. Sometimes it's angry.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's nice. I want to write. I thought the other day that I would write a happy journal.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that would go. Do I have to be happy to write it? I don't know.
I don't know. I think that first, let me say, I think that it's great that you have a journal that you write in, and that it ends up being pages. You know, writing doesn't always work for everybody, but if it helps you get out what's in your mind and kind of get it out of your mind, even temporarily, I think that that's a great tool that you're using. So I think that shows a lot of strength in your ability to find ways to kind of cope, even if it's momentarily. And I think that's a really great thing that you've been able to find. I think that determining whether or not writing a happy journal will be based on your mood will kind of have to be your decision. You know what I'm saying? Maybe sometimes forcing yourself to write something that's happy can help in addressing the mood that you're in. So if you're feeling upset, maybe writing. And again, that's something you'll kind of have to play with and determine if that helps you.
So forcing myself to write something happy.
Sure.
So like how I want things to be in my
Sure.
life, like a wish list, I don't know, maybe a story on perfect life. I don't know.
I think that there's a lot of different ways that you could approach it, and I think that you could combine them. I think that making a wish list about things about in your life that you're not satisfied with, that you want to see change, I think that's a great idea. And that will kind of give you some direction in little goals that you can set up individually when you don't have me as a resource or other things.
Mm-hmm.
I think writing stories, just general stories about made up things, is a great idea. And I think that writing in general about things in your day that you found were moments of happiness. So if you've kind of having a bad day in general, but you remember that Miss Valdez said something to you that made you feel really good, even for a few minutes, and writing that down and reminding yourself of the good things throughout the day so that you're not kind of bombarded by all the bad and negative things that you're feeling right now. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So looking for those moments of goodness throughout the day and then writing them down and then seeing how quickly they accumulate.
I like that.
Might be good?
For goodness throughout the day.
Good, good. Well, I'm glad. It's a work in progress, and you'll find what works well for you, and you might find that you need to change it up. But we'll kind of work on that. But I think that as far as looking at goals that you can kind of do, I think that would be a great idea. Keep writing the way that you are, as far as the journal that you have, if you want. But I think creating maybe a journal that you try to write things that are create more positive emotion for you, I think would be a really great step in maybe building some feelings of goodness in your life.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Perfect. And I like that you asked about if I write in my journal about the way that I want it to be, because that's definitely something that, that I could look for you and kind of tell me what if you could blink your eyes and open them up, and your life is in this moment what you want it to be. Those are great things to write in the journal, and see what things are obtainable. So tell me this. We kind of touched base on some goals that you could do. What are the things that you're looking to do right now to kind of help you move your life in a direction that you feel will make you feel better?
I want to raise my grades, because that'll get my parents off my butt.
Okay.
I want to get back in my band.
Okay.
And I guess I'd like to just, like I said before, I want to talk about how, or should I even tell my parents, like, about what my sexual preference is.
Okay. Okay.
So those seem to be the big ones that stick out to me, but I really need to just stop pissing my parents off.
Yeah. And I think that it's also about finding kind of some contentment and happiness in your life. I think obviously as a 16-year-old, you have to juggle the involvement of your parents. But my goal in working with you is getting you into a place where you feel good about yourself and your life condition. And I think that will then reflect in your relationship with your parents. Because if you're happy or feeling good about your life, I think that they'll kind of sense that. Just like when they're sensing that things are not going well, they sense that. I think that it might help them sense that things are maybe moving in the right direction for you. So I think that these are definitely things that we can work on, and we can kind of set up some things to help you maybe start working towards those things. So let me really quickly go back to the information about the HPV. So the medication they had you on isn't working, and they're going to have to kind of move into more surgical approach for it?
No. I thought I was going to take medication for it, and then they told me that I couldn't take medication for it because I already have HPV. Apparently there's a medication that you can take that prevents HPV. Okay. They give it to you, I think, between the ages of 16 and 22 or something like that. That's apparently the age range that's at high risk. And then I heard really old people get it too. Interesting. Yeah, senior citizens. Okay. But anyway, at this point there's no medication that's going to help my situation. I just have to have this they remove it, they cut it off or whatever, and then after that I'm active, so if I have another partner, I would have to tell them. Sure.
And do you think that that's the right decision to make? How do you feel about having
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now I have to tell them I have HPV. Apparently it's really common, but still I don't like having it.
Sure, I understand.
So, anyway, I've been Googling and stuff, and I read that sometimes if you have a healthy immune system or something, you can kick it out of your system. Okay. But I don't know. Okay. But I want to be nice if I could get rid of it forever. but
Sure.
I still, it sucks.
Well, I would say this. I think that considering everything kind of going on in your life right now, I think that one of the things I'm enjoying hearing from you that I think is a great strength of yours is the fact that you're still staying positive about things. You're still looking at what the future holds. You're thinking about making things better, thinking about creating a more healthy environment and a healthy well-being as far as your physical to kind of take care of this medical stuff. So, but I can understand that it can probably maybe you feel a little bit intimidated by the fact that you're dealing with something so heavy with such uncertainty. And now you're in a position where you have to kind of share that information with people who you choose to be active with. And are you considering being active with other people right now? Is it something
I have a crush on a girl.
Do you? Oh, that's good. Classmate?
Mm-hmm.
Classmate. Have you communicated with her at all about how you feel?
No, I'm too scared.
Too scared? I think that's natural. I would say, in my opinion, being nervous to share with somebody that you have feelings for them probably is very common amongst most people in your age group in general. And honestly, adults feel the same way. It's very intimidating. So I think that I don't think you have to worry too much about that.
Well, I'm a little nervous because I don't know if she's gay.
Sure.
What if I say the wrong thing and I don't know, tells everybody? I don't know.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you interested in trying to see where it might go?
Can it be a goal?
I think it could be a goal. I would prefer to kind of focus on the three that you talked about initially. I think that in obtaining these goals, maybe you'll find that you feel a little bit more comfortable in approaching her and more prepared to do so. So, but I think be friends with her, get to know her, and maybe in being friends with her, you can learn information about her. And please, I don't mean stalk her or pursue a friendship for the false reasons. You know what I'm saying? But it'll teach you about how much you really like her, and you'll learn some stuff, and you'll kind of get to know each other, and you'll figure out where your comfort zone is with her.
Okay.
I would do that.
Okay.
But
I won't stalk her.
Yeah.
I can write about her. I'll write about her.
Tell me kind of how, in general, you're feeling emotionally, and the best way that you can describe your kind of psychological situation right now. How are you feeling in general?
Most days, I feel like I'm not as depressed as time goes by.
Okay.
Like, I get bored with it.
Okay.
I know that my grandfather was diagnosed with depression, and
okay.
I don't know, I heard through a friend who said that we could get the same genes and I could get depression, and that worries me.
Okay.
And my parents don't have depression, but I don't know, could I get depression, and what does that mean?
I don't think so. You would describe some of your feeling as kind of depressive, as far as your kind of emotional state, and kind of discovering about yourself, you kind of looked into your family and found that your grandfather also dealt with some depression. So I'm sure that can feel kind of scary, because you don't know what it really is or how you kind of get it in that sense. Is that right? You kind of feel scared about it?
I just feel like, because he was so depressed, I feel like he willed himself to die, and he passed away.
Okay.
And so I don't want to be like that. I don't want to will myself. I don't want to die.
Sure.
Although
that's good.
I feel terrible sometimes, but I don't know, because my grandfather had it, could skip a generation, and I could have it. How will I know?
How will you know?
Yeah.
So there would be some assessments that we could take and we could utilize throughout the process to kind of determine whether or not you have depressive symptoms and things like this. It's not really something you get or you catch, like a cold or a virus. It's really more about some chemical changes in your brain and how that affects your mood and the feelings that you have. And
so will you do the assessment or test, or do I need to go to a doctor?
No, we would do them at some point. We would work together.
Oh, you would?
Sure.
Do you know how to do that?
Sure, absolutely. Cool. Yeah. So So that's definitely something, I think that's something that we could set as a goal, and for our next appointment we'll kind of work on looking at maybe assessing where your levels of depression might be or may not be. One of the goals that you expressed was that you wanted to raise your grades. What do you think you could do to kind of reach that? Do you have any ideas about how you could do that?
Well, I could do the work.
Okay.
So I probably should designate a time every night, because I hadn't been doing anything at night, so I probably could designate a time every night. And then they do tutoring.
Okay.
Although I think it sucks to go to tutoring.
Sure.
My parents have offered to hire a tutor, but I think I'd like to do tutoring at school.
Okay.
And then I struggle the most like in math and science. My writing, my English class, it's not a problem, although my grade has dropped a little bit, but I think I do fine in that. But I think with those two things, I should be fine. And then we've got like these standardized tests happening, so
okay.
I need to practice towards that. So I kind of know what I need to be doing. It's
Okay.
just I need some help catching up.
Okay. Do you think that you can reach out to the teachers that are doing the tutoring and set up some time to work with them?
Yeah, they do. They offer in the morning before class.
Okay.
And then after school on Wednesday, I know my science professor or teacher does tutoring too.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's set a goal that you will set some time, let's say an hour a night, and that may or may not be sufficient for your workload, and I will say that you'll have to fluctuate the time, but let's guarantee an hour a night where you'll focus on getting some work done for your school, and that you will attend one tutoring session at least a week, and then kind of see how you feel from there and see if you need the extra, we'll kind of move from there. But for now, let's designate the hour and then do one session of tutoring.
An hour every night,
Every
and
night.
then I see the tutor once on Wednesday night.
Once on Wednesday is perfect.
Okay, for
Okay.
science.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I could probably pull up my math grade. Maybe without tutoring, but we'll see.
Okay, okay. And when we meet again, we'll kind of look at where we're at. But I think I think this is a good start as far as getting where you're looking to go as far as raising your grades. Something else that you mentioned was getting back in your band. What do you think it would take to do that? Is it kind of as simple as going back?
No,
No?
because I lost my spot, and
Okay.
another person is playing guitar now. So I thought about approaching the band and saying, "Can I be your backup?"
Okay.
Like if somebody gets sick,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could play guitar.
Okay. And how do you feel about that? Being in a position where you're not fully invested because there's just not the room, but you have the opportunity.
It might be good for me right now because I have to focus on my studies
Okay.
anyway.
Good.
But
Good.
it sucks.
Again, I like that you are staying positive and motivated and realizing that there are like some great things that can be accomplished, because I think that's really important right now for you to stay kind of focused on those things.
I'm just tired of feeling this way.
Good. Well, that's good. First step, right, is realizing how you feel and moving forward from it. Okay, so I think that for a goal, before we meet again, take some time to approach your band and ask about the backup thing. If for some reason that doesn't work out, I think that utilizing what we talked about in the beginning, continuing to journal, and maybe in that process, working on your music in a solo type of circumstance. Do you
Like
think
start my own garage band.
you could start your own garage band? Sure, sure. If that's where you want to go, I think that's a great idea. And then let's really quickly talk about the circumstance of your parents. So if I understand this clearly, you're interested in talking to them, but you're really still worried about what the consequences might be of you communicating to them about what you've discovered about yourself with your sexuality, and you're afraid of where that will lead. Will they kick me out? Will they be angry with me? Will they accept it? And these are kind of some feelings that you're having about uncertainties about moving into that conversation. The last time we talked, we discussed you trying to communicate a little bit more with your mom. Have you been able to do that?
I've been just hanging out with her more.
Good. That's good.
Just helping her
Okay.
around the house. So
Okay.
she seems to like having me around. So.
Well, that's good. See, that's good. So, again, like we discussed last time, I really think that because you have kind of a more comfortable relationship with your mom, and you've been working on it a little bit more, I think that you should consider how and when the best time to approach your mom is about this. I think that it would be very helpful for you if you could communicate this with her. It sounds like you have a pretty close relationship with your mom, even if there's kind of been some hiccups along the way.
Yeah, but what if I tell my mom and she tells my dad